Welcome to the Coin Atlantis channel, the old and rare coins channel. Do not forget to click on the like button and activate the subscription bell until you receive all new on our channel. The 1964 quarter is special because it was the last year that the U.S. Mint minted quarters in a silver and copper composition, switching to a much more affordable and plentiful copper composition from 1965 onwards. This was because the U.S. Mint found that their silver reserves had dropped dramatically low as the value of silver increased, leading to people hoarding their silver quarters due to their metal value which exceeded the face value of the coin. All quarter coins manufactured between 1932 and 1964 contain 90% silver and 10% copper. They are 6.25 grams in weight and contain 0.1808 troy ounces of pure silver. After this date, all Washington quarter coins are composed of a cladding of copper and nickel, 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel. 1964 Washington quarter. The 1964 Washington quarter is special for collectors because it was the last year this quarter dollar coin was produced with silver. After this, the coin maintained its design but was no longer produced with silver. Nowadays, though many Washington quarters are still on the market, the number of the coins that have been well preserved is constantly diminishing. For collectors, getting their hands on these coins in great condition is not such an easy task because fewer and fewer of these coins exist every year. Going forward, the number of well-preserved Washington quarters will only grow smaller. Grading the 1964 Washington quarter. When it comes down to it, the Washington quarter or any other coin that collectors want to get their hands on needs to have its condition assessed. This is why you will notice collectors carefully analyzing the surfaces of the coins looking for any and all imperfections. Because these pieces were circulated for an extended period of time, many of them will have a lot of damage on the surfaces. For most people, the most logical way to go about having a coin's condition assessed is to send it away for grading. Knowing that this is an expensive process that not everyone can afford, we have provided a listing of the different grades and their characteristics. Uncirculated, a coin that is determined to be in uncirculated condition is one that never spent any time in circulation. These coins will have been preserved such that their texture and imagery is almost identical to what it was the day it was minted. For collectors, these are the most desirable coin on the market. Extremely fine. A coin that is determined to be extremely fine is one that spent a bit of time in circulation, but not all that much at all. These coins will show some signs of damage, but other than some light scratching you will notice that these pieces are in great condition. For collectors, these are also great coins to add to collections. Fine. If a coin is determined to be of fine grade, this means that the coin in question will have been circulated quite a bit. Unlike most coins that have been heavily circulated, these pieces will have only a little bit of damage. Most often, the damage you notice will be in the form of some light surface wear. Good. If a coin is determined to be of good grade, this is the worst grade a coin can receive. You will notice that the coin in question is heavily damaged and that the surfaces of the coin are almost completely worn down. Though in poor condition, collectors like these coins simply because they are more than affordable. Pricing the 1964 Washington quarter. When it comes to determining a price for the 1964 Washington quarter, there are a few factors for you to consider. For one, the condition of the coin means everything, so it goes without saying that well-preserved pieces are going to sell for higher prices than those coins that have been heavily circulated. Secondly, because there were multiple types of quarters minted every year, the exact type of coin you own will also play into the asking price. Listed below is a chart aimed at giving you a better idea of what you might be asked to pay for one of these coins. The eagle on the reverse of the 1964 D Washington, reverse of 1965 quarter dollars displays crisp feather detail, a design change initiated to accommodate striking the Washington quarter dollar on a copper-nickel clad blanket. I recently had the opportunity to examine a dozen examples of the 1964 D Washington, reverse of 1965 quarter dollars. Also called Type C reverse quarter dollars, These 90% silver coins display crisp feather detail on the eagle, a design change initiated to accommodate striking the Washington quarter dollar on a copper-nickel clad blanket. It is a popular variety, worth about $225 in mint state 65 compared to less than $20 for standard reverse 1964D quarter dollars. No one knows precisely how many 1964D Washington reverse of 1965 quarter dollars were struck. Having 12 coins together provided a rare opportunity to perform a die study. My colleagues and I were able to attribute the coins to two different reverse dies. This means that dies intended to strike copper-nickel clad coins were instead impressed with a demint mark and used to strike silver counterparts, and it happened more than once. It's exciting to think this mishap occurred multiple times, providing some insight into the transition from silver to clad coinage. In 1965, when phasing out silver coinage, the Treasury wanted to remove any possible impediment to the introduction of copper-nickel. One concern was that silver quarter dollars would be hoarded, so they produced an enormous number of them. The 1964D quarter dollar has the highest mintage of any silver Washington quarter dollar minus 704,135,528 pieces. But these coins were not all struck in 1964. Coinage of silver quarter dollars was continued alongside production of copper-nickel clad quarter dollars until 1967 to meet demand. An enormous amount of clad quarter dollars were also produced in 1965, more than 1.8 billion of them. All U.S. coins dated 1965 through 1967 were struck without mint marks, although they were produced at all mints. The use of mint marks was temporarily suspended primarily to discourage collectors and speculators from hoarding new issues. With such an extraordinary number of coins being produced during this period, it is hardly surprising that occasional mishaps like the 1964D Washington reverse of 1965 quarter dollar occurred. Wrong blanket errors from this period also exist and are highly coveted. For example, heritage auctions sold in about uncirculated 90% silver 1965 Washington quarter dollar for $6,900 in a January 7, 2006 sale. An extremely scarce counterpart, a 1964 quarter dollar struck on a copper-nickel clad blanket, is considered a six-figure rarity by error specialists. To manage the transition from 1965 to 1967, the Treasury and Federal Reserve banks held all quarter dollars and dimes returned to them from circulation. By July 1967, they had developed a stockpile of 3 billion dimes and 1.3 billion quarter dollars and began using automated machines to sort them. Copper-nickel clad coins were returned to circulation and silver coins were melted, yielding 212 million fine ounces of silver. Silver sales conducted from August 4, 1967, through November 10, 1970, which included the 212 million ounces of silver from melted dimes and quarter dollars, generated $147 million in profit for the U.S. government, according to the Treasury Department. The 1964 quarter dollar was sold on March 25, 2021 by Stax Bowers for $38,400, but now it's worth about $43,000 due to its rarity, as the American government melted most of the 1964 silver coins.